Compton School Superintendent. Compton School Superintendent.
Kristen Harling, Board Member.
James Garofalo, Board Member.
Stefan Bohuniak, Board Secretary.
Ed Schramello, Board Member.
All right, next item we have is the Bungay Building Committee update. We have two members here. I don't see, no, so Mr.
Go ahead,
Schramello, Mr.
Pete.
Kubik,
He's
you have a
the
quick
chairman.
update?
I don't think there's anything new since the last meeting. I mean, the new educational specs were approved by this board at the last meeting, and we continue to meet and prepare for the referendum, which is October 9th, I believe. So,
All right, good. So mark your calendars, October 9th this year for the vote on that new Bungay school.
and we're looking at, I like to say this over and over again, but we're looking at approximately a 65% reimbursement from the state of Connecticut to offset the cost of the school. So when we vote in the referendum, it will be for the full amount because that's the way it has to be by the legislative rules. But we will be getting 65% roughly reimbursement from the state off of that number.
Anything? Good?
No, that's
All
good.
right. Item 2B, like every month, we have our Seymour Champion recognitions, and this month it is for those students who are noble. So we have Bungay School up first.
So our first student up that we'd like to recognize for being noble is Mason Williams. So come on. So Mr. Cummings couldn't be here tonight, but Mr. Cummings nominated Mason, and I'm going to say a few words about you for all of the wonderful attributes that you have in our school building. So Mason has demonstrated what it means to be a Seymour champion all year, especially this month's Noble. He holds himself accountable, is honest, caring, and kind to everyone, and I see that every day. He is respected by his peers and very unselfish. Mason has great morals and always wants to do the right thing. He does so with a positive attitude and an awesome sense of humor, I can attest to that, and helps to create a comfortable and fun learning environment for the class and for the school. This is why Mason deserves to be student and Seymour champion. Keep up the hard work, Mason. You have so much growth that you've made this year, and your bright future ahead of you, and your bright trend starter school. Mason even stepped up today and helped with our, well, actually 2 times, right? Our K-2 pep rally and also our 3 to 5 pep rally, helping to cheer on all of our students. So he did a wonderful job. Congratulations, Mason.
next, Chatfield to Presley.
Our first student to be recognized for noble is Raymond Frisbee. So Raymond, please come down. Raymond was nominated by his grade 3 teacher, Mrs. Overcash. Raymond shows how noble he is on a daily basis in our third grade classroom. He shows kindness day in and day out to his classmates as well as every adult that he comes across. If someone needs help, Raymond offers
up next is our report from our two high school student reps.
All right, so we're gonna start off with National Honor Society. They hosted a blood drive April 21st, and they collected 14 units of blood throughout the school day from all students. I think some staff members too. And then our members met with 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes prior to SBAC testing to provide tips and encouragement. For student council, we had our powder puff game during school. That was a big hit. The seniors took home the win again. Our movie night will be occurring May 29th, and there will be a small price and a canned food or empty bottle entrance fee. Our May 1st decision day for our seniors occurred. That was a big hit. They had snacks, a photo op, and then multiple videos that were made for like the seniors and then social media. For our sports, the spring season's well underway. Baseball sitting at 7-5, softball's 10-3, our tennis team is 7-3, golf is 7-4, and then boys track is 6-0, and then girls are 5-1. And then they're all looking to finish strong. Our softball team was ranked top 10 in the state 2 weeks ago. And then Robert Carfiel and Lily Crisio will win the CIAC Scholar Athlete Award. For our yearbook club, they finished the main book, and they're finishing the spring supplement with sports, prom, and the powder puff game. And our art club is finishing up some independent work, and they're planning to work on a mural for the Seymour's 175th celebration.
And then Environmental Club, the students celebrated Earth Day by making posters, painting the windows, cleaning up campus, or simply enjoying the outdoors. There's plans to add an outdoors focus group to our club, which will take on the focus of fishing, hiking, and habitat conservation. And then Debate Club, the Debate Club celebrated the 24-25 tournament season by sharing a meal at the Cast Iron Skillet in Seymour on April 24th. The dates have been set for the upcoming season. Our small but mighty team is looking forward to a strong year with 3 veteran seniors heading our group. Anuya Shah, Alyssa Vergati, and Ariel Zedek have been handling PR and recruitment for the club, and they're very excited for next school year. And then Electrathon Car Club, on Friday, April 25th, the Seymour Electrathon racing team participated in the CT Electrathon annual spring race held at Lime Rock Park in Lakeville, Connecticut. During this very competitive race, Seymour's Electrathon racing team finished first in the race against 20 other high school collegiate teams. Peyton McDaniel and Tyler Rodriguez drove car number 86, our newly manufactured race car. The team was able to beat a Canadian college team full of mech/electrical engineering students as well. Newspaper Club, the advisors have been working on our secession. Suggestions for future editors are being discussed based on skill and interest. And also, the Pauper staff are planning on publishing a 4th and final issue for this school year. And then finally, Future Business Leaders of America, we actually had a question regarding the sponsorship proposal that we said at, I believe, the February meeting. And essentially, me, along with our advisor, Ms. Jepson, looked at, it went to, I believe, a committee, and then came back to the board in the March meeting. And CABE policy 3281.1 was mentioned, but we have no idea what that means. And whether, that policy said that we passed the sponsorship, but when I try to look up that policy, the only thing that comes up is the board minutes. So, we can't figure out, and, Ms. Jackson was just wondering, how to figure out the process about doing that in the future, since, we didn't quite, you know?
March. Did we pass that in March?
It came up, it said, CABE policy 3281.1. You talked about how the proposed policy provides flexibility in handling sponsorships while ensuring the board is informed, and both the superintendent and administration are involved in the process. And then there was a motion, and it passed 7-0.
Okay, so we did apply that, so it's just probably not updated on our site.
We just couldn't figure out what that was, and then Ms. Jepson was trying to figure out what the actual process was going to be. So she just wanted me to reach out about it so that she could get that smooth rolling for next school year.
We will get that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. That's all we got.
All right. Thanks, guys. Any questions for our student reps?
Great job. Thanks also for the student council input and both of you participating in that as well.
All right. Moving on, item number 3, public comment. Anyone from the public would like to make a comment?
Policy 6163.5 regarding physical education for grades 6 through 12. When my children entered middle school this year, I reviewed the policy and noticed several areas that seemed inequitable. I brought my concerns to Mr. O'Rourke, Mrs. Fahey, and Mrs. Compton, and I truly appreciate that they took those concerns seriously and brought them to the BOE Policy Committee for review. The proposed revisions represent a significant improvement in many areas, and I want to commend the committee for their efforts. I'm particularly pleased to see two key updates. Students who miss class due to in-school or out-of-school suspension will no longer be exempt from their daily grade, but will be required to complete a makeup assignment. Students who miss class due to other school-related obligations, such as meetings with guidance counselors or participation in school activities, will now be exempt from makeup work. Right now, students who miss PE for any reason, even with an excused absence, are expected to complete a physical activity and also write about it. They need to have the activity signed off by an adult and then write responses to 3 questions with at least 3 or 4 sentences each. Those written answers are then graded for quality. Here's the issue. Written assignments aren't part of the regular PE curriculum at the middle school level. So when students miss class, they're being asked to do something that isn't typically required in PE. And grading them on the quality of that writing can feel like a double penalty, especially for kids who love physical activity but aren't confident writers. The updated policy says students will need to do a written assignment or a physical activity as determined by their teacher, instead of both a written assignment and physical activity. While that's definitely an improvement, leaving this decision solely to teacher discretion without clear guidelines risks creating perceptions of unfairness. It also opens the door for inconsistent application between teachers. One student may get a physical activity sheet while another gets a written assignment, and that inconsistency can be frustrating and confusing. I strongly recommend the following. Eliminate written assignments as a standard makeup option, reserve written work only for long-term absences or medical exemptions, clarify and standardize the makeup process to ensure consistency and fairness across classrooms. In my experience, students are most frustrated by the writing component, and again, writing is not even part of the regular PE curriculum. Many other districts do not have a formal PE makeup policy at all. Seymour's policy is already more robust than most. Let's keep it focused where it belongs on making up the physical activity. Before voting tonight, I hope you consider the potential challenges of relying on teacher discretion and consider further refining the policy to better support fairness, consistency, and student engagement. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public like to make a comment? Second call for public comment. Dr. Compton, Shannon, we had a letter? You got some help now?
Yeah, I thought the board got
Yeah, we did.
Mr. Secretary?
We all got it.
Yeah, we got it.
If I can open it, I'd happily read it. Do you want me to read it into the record? I could.
I mean, I feel like only if it is a comment that we would have allowed
Yeah,
in
those
person.
can come.
If it violates our
Our
rules of
process.
decorum and,
It was from a student in response to our last meeting regarding the budget.
I don't have an opinion on either way. I'll defer to you.
As long as it's, is it well-written, like, there's no,
Yes.
okay, all right, sure, have at it.
All right. I will read a letter we received from Penelope Hansen, age 11. I am a 6th grader at Seymour Middle School. On May 1st, the Seymour budget was passed with a lot less than needed. I was disappointed and mad when I found out that the Seymour budget was getting cut and that STEM, French, middle school, and high school music teachers got cut. I'm upset because for STEM, I did not get to do robots or cars, French because I've always wanted to take French in high school, and the high school and middle school music teacher is the best, and is the best chorus teacher that I have ever had. I'm disappointed that a lot of people who could vote did not vote, and that affected the budget and why things got cut. I think that it will affect our education because STEM teaches us about things like engineering, math, science, and technology, and not all classes teach those topics. French because they're taking away our choice of languages, and it could affect the kids already taking French. Chorus because people get to sing, perform, and have a sense of belonging. In conclusion, I am disappointed in the town that we come together for everything but this. I think that we need more people to vote to support our school system and students like me. Thank you. And any sort of typos or mispronunciations can be attributed to me, not Penelope.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? Second call for public comment. Final call for public comment. All right, public comment is closed. We'll take a 2-minute little break. You guys got this test to study for this week. You're free to go, and anyone else is free to go. All right, item 4, we have the reports. Nutrition services, special ed report, financial report, and the enrollment report. Any questions? See Dr. Boyle's here. I don't see Cindy. Any questions there? All right. Item 4E, school improvement plan for Bungay Elementary. Nope. Won't say it that way.
You have to.
That's the proper pronunciation.
So, Ms. Levy passed out a copy of Ms. Rosenstein's school improvement plan. We did a quick overview, so we're going to give you the highlights tonight, and then we're happy to answer any questions that you may have, and kind of focus on our key pieces, but also kind of looping in some of the progress that we made, it being towards the end of the year. So our overarching goal for our school improvement plan is really about creating an environment where students and families feel safe and staff, but really looking at how we know the impact on students feeling a part of the community, feeling safe in a learning environment really affects their student achievement as well. So that is really the focus. You'll see that weaved throughout. You'll also see a few changes this year in looking at really staff and students' feedback, not only to each other, but across. And we also have a lot of peer observation and collaboration within it, because we know that impacts teachers' strategies and best practices, as well as goal setting. So we have a lot within all of our parts of our goals, both our academic and our social emotional, about students setting goals, teachers setting goals, and then working towards progress on those goals, and looking at celebrating our achievements. So you'll see that weave throughout as well.
Yeah, so as Mrs. Reed had mentioned, previous focus of the goals have kind of been on students feeling they'd established a relationship with adults. And Bungie wanted to take it a step further this year and further emphasize the importance of safety and the fact that students are the foundation of our community. That their involvement helps promote the feeling of ownership, and we wanted our students to feel empowered to promote positivity. We utilized the mantra, our school is a family, and have shared that philosophy kind of throughout the year. It was challenging having those two different components, but our staff felt that both were very important, and we have analyzed the data for each. Beginning with some SEL assessments through DESA, and those were used to monitor, progress monitor students and flag those that may have been struggling with some social emotional feelings. And we also additionally utilize our buzz cards and different PBIS components to recognize positive behaviors. In doing so, we're also outlining expected behaviors for students to be aware of throughout all settings of the school, such as the hallway, bathrooms, recess, and we meet with them both in the fall and in the spring to utilize those expectations on our matrix. We've had tremendous feedback about our buzz cards from all levels, all the way from pre-K through grade 5.
So our second goal around academics is really for reading comprehension. We've also targeted fluency as well, and overall foundational skills. So that has been utilized through our Into Reading program, which we are now into our second year, but really looking at the key skills that students need to be successful. So you'll see on the data sheet that we do set goals around each grade level, showing a marked improvement on their overall RIT ranges or RIT scores. We have analyzed the data so far for K to 2, because they did complete our spring testing, and we do see that we've met all of those goals in reading. So to give you a little flash forward, the real key strategies that we're implementing are small group instruction based on our data to support our students on their individual needs and levels. We also are using, as I talked about before, goal setting. So we're looking at the 4 disciplines of execution, which is also something that they use in the business model, but it's really talking about wildly important goals. So we use that with the students. They set wildly important goals. We talk about what that is, that it's something that you want to really improve on, that it's something that's important to you, that you know it's going to lead to success. And this has really taken on its own momentum with the kids. They are really excited about it. It's something they own, it's something they name, and it's something that they track, not only as a class, but individually, and they celebrate their successes. They mark it, so they're every day, every week, they're going back to these goals. Did I make it? They remind their teachers, hey, we never did so-and-so today, we have to mark it on our chart. We have to, we have to get to our sight words. We have to do our Lexia time. In many of the classrooms during their SRBI time or their WIN time, they actually have a contract, they have assignments, they go to it, they look what they have, they mark their time. It really has become a student-led initiative, and the students really feel empowered. They know what their goals are, they want to succeed, they're celebrating each other. Wow, look, you made this goal, okay, I need to get here, I'm going to try next time. So that has been a huge improvement in really developing those skills of self-monitoring and looking at that. So you'll see that in math and reading, and we even have everyone doing it. Our unified arts teachers are doing it. Our special ed teachers are doing it. So they have individual goals with their students. They're tracking their progress. They're setting them. So it's across all of our disciplines. All of our teachers are all focused on this, and the students all know about it, so they'll talk about it. There's talk about end of year wig party, so we'll let you know if that.
I was thinking it, Lauren, I was thinking it.
Provide targeted and timely feedback to students, but also it's teacher to teacher. So that has been really looking at best practices and peer observations, as we talked about. And then we also did do a model this year to departmentalize our 5th grade to give them a little bit of kind of that practice for the middle school model where they're switching, so it's not such a stark kind of difference. So we have them do switch classes, so they have a homeroom, and they do ELA and social studies, and then the other teacher does math and science. It gives a little specialization, which is nice, a little focus. It really helps us to make sure that our sciences are getting the time that they need, and it also allows that kind of more monitored, closely feedback, looking at the data. So we're hopeful to, kind of share more about that in the future, but that's something that we took on this year to really see, and we felt like the kids needed not only that academic piece, but also organization, time management, moving classes, having all your belongings. So we wanted to look at it from preparing them for the middle school, and we've gotten good feedback from our families as well, and the students. And it also gives some students a little bit of movement that, can be beneficial as well, and that relationship with another teacher. So we found it as a positive for our students. But you can see our data and our goals around that.
Yeah, and then just building off that as well, it does give even our teachers the ability to conference about some strengths, some successes they're having with some students, some struggles they're having with others, and our teachers are collaborating more, within and are able to address those things. So I think overall it's been a really phenomenal development, and it's great. As far as mathematics go, again, we have at this point in time, we've got all of our math data K through 2, which we have started going through and boring through, and I don't know if we're as successful with math as we were with language arts. We're still sorting that out, I'm not saying definitively, but everything we've looked at so far has been very good. So we started with language arts, and we're working our way into math. But some of our successes in math have come from our continued emphasis on the implementation of our Envision program, where teachers have the opportunity to implement some different components, still focusing on having engaging lessons, but then using some shared work, some shared lessons, and in doing so have been making student work more visible. We're also utilizing 3 ACT tasks and application problems through IXL, and those IXL challenges help students focus on their independent application of the skills, where the work they're doing is tailored based on meeting the students where they are, and helping bring the students up to the level that they need to. These assessments are also utilized in grades 3 to 5, which they're using in preparation for their taking the SBAC tests, which starts tomorrow. We've also been able to institute longer intervention blocks, which has given some abilities to have students who need those interventions, have given them more time in math, and that's even if they are receiving reading interventions as well. We've been able to cut more time out for that as well. So our staff has a strong understanding of the focus standards, how they're written as standard-based goals, and math has been really an area of great growth for us this year as well.
So our communication goal, we wanted to incorporate the whole idea of goals, I know I'm saying that a lot, into our communication goal, because the students being aware of it is great, the students having ownership of it is wonderful, but we wanted parents to know, we wanted kids going home and saying, my goal is, We wanted teachers sharing the goals with the parents as well. What are we doing to, track these goals? Some of the students' goals, they're what we call lead measures, their strategies, are things that they're trying to do more at home too. So they might have things they do in school and they have things they do at home. So we incorporated that idea of goal setting within our stakeholder feedback. So we want we want our staff to make sure that families are informed of their goals, the strategies, and also the academic and social-emotional growth that students are making. So we really are highlighting a lot of those goals within our remind messages, our parent-teacher conferences. We're sending home examples of student goals. We also are highlighting them in our Buddy Buzz. We've highlighted them at our Meet the Teacher and events like that as well. And then continuing to really just work as a community to celebrate students, to make families feel welcome in our school, and to continue to host a myriad of different events like our poetry celebration, and at each grade level really taking ownership of something that's a family event and a family opportunity for them to feel involved in their children's education. So each grade level does have, an event that they've chaired to have families come in. And this is just an overall graphic, and we also have a cover sheet that's we wanted something that was easily digestible, not our school improvement plan, which was a little bit lengthy for all of our families. So it's a one-pager that you can see in front of you that just outlines our three main goal areas and our key strategies. So you have that in front of you, but really you can see there's a through line around, whether it's social emotional, our academic, or our communication, that we're really looking to make sure that we're working together as a team, that we're building those competencies, and that we're giving each other feedback on what our goals are and the progress we've made. So you can see that thoroughly.
Yeah, and just in addition to that too, we've given staff some extended opportunities to do some peer observations and to collaborate with one another on the best practices that they are utilizing in their classrooms and to improve instruction overall.
And we have the staff have, will copy us on an email that they sent to the staff member after visiting their classroom, where they're highlighting, or even if the staff is presenting a PL, they're sharing, that was so great, I really learned something from you. So that's really the culture that we're trying to build, as well as admin, our goals around really be that visibility, being in the classroom, and every time we're in a classroom, giving feedback to whether it's a student or a staff member, but giving that feedback and highlighting all of the great things we're doing, but also really being visible and being a part of that school community as well. And we keep our own WIG sheet actually in the office as well. So the students see that and they see us checking off, and we've had conversations at our morning announcements. Mr. Willis and I, we didn't make it, but we're going to try again next week. It's okay, but we have to figure out what's our plan to move forward. So really having that kind of metacognition around it too.
We actually had some high school students in the building this week working with some of our students about test taking skills for the ESPA test, and they saw our ways, and they jumped right in. Hey guys, did this, and they picked up on it as being complete outsiders and saw it.
And I've had a student call me out too. I don't think you made it this week. So they know what it is, and they're working hard to meet their own, but they're also holding us accountable. So, and then we were just sharing some of the great things happening in the school. So whether it's from preschool or our wonderful PTA or kindercats, as Mr. Willis had mentioned, we've really been working hard to try to have collaborations across the schools. So it's been great, having an extra little in there. But we've had the National Honor Society, the dance squad, kindercat program, so really building that community across all grade levels. So just a few highlights of student celebrations, field trips. Our debate club for the middle school also was able to come down, so any chance we can use the talent within our own students and our community. We had a career and hobby day, so we're really looking to kind of build that all in. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions? Jim?
Yes, I have a question. Your communication goal, if I may ask, you referenced the spring 2025 Bungie Elementary School Family Survey. How long have you conducted this survey?
So our stakeholder feedback or our family survey, how many years? Is that? Yeah, I mean, forever, yeah. It's been there at least 10 years, so I can speak to that,
Okay.
being a part of it. We do adjust so we keep some core questions because we want, it to be reliable and we want to be able to compare it year to year. but at times there are specialized goals or things we're working on, so we might tweak a question or two, or add a question or two so that we can continue to grow. Last year we focused more on our connections and our students being able to say they have an adult in the building that they trust and feel connected to. So we might keep that question to continue to collect that data, but we've done a lot of growth around that, and we feel like that's great. We've done really well. We don't want to be kind of stale in that. We don't want to keep that as our goal. So we might say, okay, now we really want families to know about our goals. So we would shift and add a question. We might take off something that we no longer really need to keep track of, but overall we've had this in place for a long time.
Okay, so you're 80%.
Yes.
How did you arrive at that?
So our 80% this year is based on our goals. So we'll look at our data from our last spring and we'll look to increase it, or if we're starting a new goal, we might set that more as a standard. So it also varies each year. We do look to get more and more participation in our school-wide climate survey. So we might, kind of look at like participation rate one year. We might look at a specific goal like the 80%. So the 80% this year, we did not have that question previously with the goal setting. So that was more of a standard of what we're trying to reach. There are times when we give a mini climate survey in the fall, which we did this year, and I'm getting to a little bit more about the 80%, to get a baseline. So we'll send something out in the fall, get a baseline. Okay, we're only at 70% and we only had this many participate. We're going to look to increase that over the year. So it's set like a SMART goal.
Now, just bear with me, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
If you established a goal of 80% of families will respond favorably.
Yeah.
Now, here's what's in my head. What if you were not to get 80% unless you base that strictly on the number of survey responses received? Got that? You send out 100, you only get 50 back. So really, if you get 40 people that respond favorably, you've met your goal, right?
Well, it's based on our response, but it's more out of percent of people who respond. So it's a Likert scale. It's a scale like agree, somewhat agree, correct. I mean, but that's any survey. I mean, I think the typical response rate, like we were actually just talking about this earlier tonight with our strategic planning, is like 13% response is like a good response rate.
Customer survey
Well,
is
what
1%.
1%.
What I'm really moving toward is the people who don't respond. You send out 100, you don't get 100 back, you get fewer than that. Do you, in the course of looking at the input, do you reach out to those people who never respond or responded? Never responded. Do you actually try to determine why they didn't respond? Because to me, that's an important piece when you consider making goals that rely upon responses from parents and stakeholders of the school.
Yeah, it's always a goal of ours. Yeah, so it's always a goal of ours that families feel comfortable responding and being honest. So I think, while our data team and our climate team, which has comprised of faculty, we do have students that participate at some levels, and parents, I wouldn't necessarily want to call out individual families for not responding, but we do try to have a variety of ways to respond, and we do look for feedback on why people didn't take it. In general, we don't look for necessarily their response, but we send it out via Remind, we send it out in our newsletter, we have Chromebooks and things available when we have different nights at the school, so if families don't have access or they maybe skipped it, we try to encourage them to take it now. We do look at the overall responses if we see a concern to try to kind of say, well, why didn't a student feel safe? Where didn't they feel safe? We try to collect additional data. We do our best to collect as much as we can. But no, we don't necessarily target specific people who didn't take it. We do say, we only have this much response, we're looking for more people, we'll send it out again, but I mean, that's kind of, I don't know if I'm answering your question fully, but.
Well, I'm just thinking that if the people who receive these surveys don't act upon them,
Yeah.
to me, that might be a lost opportunity for you, for the administration, and also for the children, because there might be some things available to you, and there might be parents, et cetera, out there who, for one reason or another, don't fulfill the responsibility you're looking for them to
Yeah,
fulfill.
that happens, but we do try
And
to
there
do
might
different
be
languages,
something
that's
else out there for you.
Yeah.
So that's why I asked the question.
I understand.
Thank you.
Can you, clarifying question? I recall the surveys were always anonymous, so you don't know who's answering or not.
Yeah, that's
So there's
right.
no
For them to
opportunity
feel
to
safe,
reach out to
yeah.
anybody, and it would be an awkward thing, but they're anonymous. So,
But we do try to do like multiple opportunities or look at our response rate and say, why didn't, like
Of
we
course,
do, we are
yeah.
reflective of it, but not necessarily the particular family.
Right.
It's just for.
Regardless if they're anonymous, there's still a way to convey to the public, a way to at least express to them that you would have liked to have received a greater response. That still maintains the anonymity of the individuals who receive. But when you put that out there as part of a flyer or through the children taking home something, that might have an impact. So the anonymous portion of it,
So we do send it out again and say we're looking for more responses, so we offer those different opportunities. We also, some families might not fill out a survey, but we do, welcome them in and meet with them separately, depending on the need. We also have, some supports within our building too, like our counselor and tools like that if a family wants to reach out, so.
Do you have something?
Yeah, but I want to make sure they're done.
I just want to say something on the survey thing, now, if I may. To Mr. Griffel's point there, sometimes it's hard to, you probably sent the survey out, I'm going to be honest, I didn't fill it out, because I didn't even see it. So I missed it, you know what I mean? You get so many, they do a tremendous job of communicating with their weekly newsletters and stuff.
Some people are
That,
just not.
they probably did send it out, and quite honestly, I missed it, because I didn't see it,
And that's why we try to send it multiple times. I send it, Mr. Wilson might send it, the classroom teacher might send it, we might have it at, the art show, so we try to do as much as we can. But.
And it's something, too, that you might not be looking for, and you kind of just, I'm embarrassed to say it, probably just pass right over it, you know what I mean?
And we try to say, it's only
Yeah.
6 questions, it's only, it'll take less than 2 minutes, so we try to, make it, and the available language also.
All set, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question I have, and I think is also for Dr. Compton and for the collaboration within the building. Is there collaboration within buildings, meaning fifth grade staff being able to watch sixth grade staff work, and eighth grade staff being able to watch freshman staff teach there? Is that happening?
So it has not happened this year, but it is something that we have done previously, where 6th grade came down to see our 5th grade teachers. We did do a little bit of it this year. We had our special ed departments visit each other. So our Mr. O'Rourke was kind enough to send staff members from his building to come down and observe in our classrooms and in our settings, and then we were able to send some of our staff up to Mr. O'Rourke to see different programs that he runs and classrooms and models. So we did do that in that sense. We haven't done it specifically in 5th grade in general, but we have done that in the past, and that's something that has been helpful.
Because what I'm thinking and reflecting when I was a teacher myself, it's good to understand what a sixth grade staff member wants me to be teaching in fifth grade as far as creative writing, for example, or for in eighth grade to find out what the plane geometry classes is going on, and stuff like that.
It's very important, it's well said, Mr. Mello, you're right on it, because it's called the vertical alignment articulation between the elementary with the middle and the high school. We need to do more of it, because it's the expectations as they go from 5th to 6th, or if they're going from 8th to 9th. One of the things too sometimes is a rigor in making sure, it's been very rigorous in the elementary, making sure that the middle school, that transition of that 6th grade is very difficult. So we really need to do more visitations, both with the 6th grade going down, looking at the 5th grade, and the 5th grade as well as the 6th grade, but really all across, because it's very important in how we raise the bar, how we get the focus, how we work together, and we need to do more of it.
And I know it's not easy,
No,
because
but it
of
needs to be
contractual issues, there's time
Yeah.
issues, I understand that.
But it makes us
It's-
better.
You know, that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
The ruler program that they've been a part of with Yale University, I just want to say a big thank you. It's worked out really well. It's been a big step, a lot of training, but both them and Chatfield, they led the charge, and very, very proud of the presentation tonight. They did an excellent job.
All right, any other questions on the report section? Item 5, consent agenda. Anything we need to remove? If not, motion to,
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
motion by Kristen, second by Ed. Any other discussion?
I just wanted to make sure people know that Mrs. Fearon is not leaving us, because I could see people seeing this and having a little bit of a panic moment. She's moving over, right, from
Yes.
ELA to
Social Studies
Yes.
as a chair, and I'd also like for everybody to know, there were 3 retirements. We're not hiring more teachers. There's 3 retirements here, and they're basically what Mr. Lucky and I refer to as rookie teachers. They're brand new, out of the gate, in regards as far as the salary and the cost. We might as well just tell it like it is. The other is Spanish, and this is mandated for graduation requirements. Trust me, we have looked at everything, staffing in every school, and we have to have 2 English teachers, we have to have a math teacher, and then the situation with fulfillment of world language. That's what we've got on the agenda, and yes, Nicole Huron is going to be the chair of the Social Studies.
We have in our audience here Mr. La Sorenza.
Yes, she's here with us tonight.
All right, if there is no other discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And 1 abstention. Jim's abstention.
Are we missing the name of the math teacher who's replacing Greg Scott? Did it just get cut off?
I might have gotten
It's
cut off.
Jenna Bennett. It's in
Yeah.
the,
Oh, it must be
Okay.
a.
Just wasn't on the printout. Okay. No problem.
Jenna is a Seymour High School
I thought
graduate.
so. I thought so.
Did you get that? 801. Okay, item 7, discussion and possible action, policy 61635.
Okay, I'd just like to address on that. I'd like to say thank you to our parent Jody, and she's been very loyal. She's come to the policy subcommittee. We are listening to you, Jody. We've made some progress. I know the written assignment in PE is still bothering you, and I've assured you if this doesn't work, we're going to bring it back to the board and make further revisions. The policy in itself was very old, very outdated, very archaic, and it was actually in conflict. So this is a step tonight. We're going to be open-minded. I know there's a lot of concern about why can you give a written assignment in PE? We're going to monitor this and see how it goes.
All right, so has everybody had a chance to look at that policy? Basically, real simple. If you're suspended or in school, you still got to make it up. If you are at school function, you do not.
Still doing the
If you're
writing
absent, you
assignment,
still
but
have to do it, yep.
so we're going to monitor and see what happens.
It's an and/or, so I would need a motion.
So we could say it again?
So, right, so.
I read it, but just.
Yeah, so for PE, if you miss the class, you have to make up an assignment.
Everyone.
Right, so we are doing it where if a student is suspended in school or out of school, they have to still make the assignment up. The way the policy was written before, you did not have to make it up. However, if you went on a field trip and missed PE, you had to make it up. So you'll be exempt from that if you're absent for school-related events and obviously
Like dentist
absent.
appointments, stuff like that.
If you're absent, you still have to make it up, but if you go on a field trip, I think like extracurriculars,
And then the choice is it both physical and written?
and
And
or.
Or.
And
Or.
We're gonna
Who
monitor
decides that?
this and make sure.
the teacher.
The teacher decides.
Kristen?
I have a question. For students who are medically excused and are not physically in school, they will be removed from class and will need to re-register. How does that work in elementary or middle school?
It's-
I mean, in the high school, you can take it next semester, but I don't, to my recollection, I don't know that elementary and middle school students have that option.
This is middle and high school, so elementary is not.
Okay, so
not
middle
a
school
part-
then.
Yeah, this is 612.
I understand, so
Okay.
middle school. Forgot I said elementary, middle school.
Okay.
I don't know, that's a good question. If they're medically ineligible, I mean.
They have
They
a
would
medical.
do the writing assignment?
We have to
No,
work.
no,
we
it
have-
says
have
they
to
will be
work.
removed from the class and will need to re-register for the required physical education class. To my recollection, in middle school, it's not like you have
You don't have an
selecting,
option.
right, you don't select
You don't
physical
have-
ed
right.
as a
Yeah. It's
choice.
written more really for high school.
Okay, but then I'm gonna throw some magic through the chair. What if it's your last semester?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yes, exactly. What if you have some kind of medical
So if you're not gonna
emergency,
graduate
you
because
have
you couldn't
a,
make up the gym and you
broken-
can't re-register? So I think that's a little,
that's
tell me where the, just show me,
Item
remind me,
number
Mrs.
2.
Trump, what the number is of that?
Number 2.
Yeah, oh, it's not highlighted.
you want to address that?
Because it wasn't changed.
Yeah. So you will need to be re-registered for the required physical education class when medically cleared to participate, but if you're not excused, Mr. Lucky left.
It's
if you're-
basic.
Yeah, do you have
It's
the, for
basically
middle
high
school
school.
specifically, do you know?
Yes, yes, because the high school is a situation of medical.
Middle school, difference between middle school and high school is our classes are not credit bearing for
That's
recognition
right.
purposes. We have a lot more discretion when it comes to the promotion process versus the district issuing a high school diploma and the credits that you have to earn in terms of what the state requires. So if a student they had to be withdrawn from phys ed because of a medical reason, typically we would probably go through the 504 process and we would take them out of class and move on to the assignment. But it wouldn't hurt their ability to be promoted as per board policy, language arts, math, science, social studies, the core four are the ones that we look at in terms of potential retention, not promoting students. So this would not hurt a middle school student.
So I think for number 2 there, we just say high school students.
It's basically
Yeah,
high
what if
school.
it is, yeah.
It's high
But
school.
that still does not delay the issue, sorry, Mrs. Harley.
No, 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 I know what you're saying. Yeah.
That still does not delay the issue, that if you need that credit and in your last semester, there is no re-registration. So to me.
Well, that's why you take your freshman and sophomore
Yeah.
years, okay?
I know, but why do you even, why, I mean,
It's
why
a-
remove them from the class? If
Well,
they're
I
medically
think it's-
excused, because you're saying the bottom part of this, that if a kid is suspended, they can make it up. But if you're medically excused, you can't, like, that does not make any sense to me. I'm sorry, but if you're saying, oh, if a kid is suspended from school, you can make up class, but if you broke your leg and you can't participate in gym class, sorry, too bad for you.
Well,
That's ludicrous.
It's
Well, the
actually
PE is a
difference if you're,
requirement
if you're
for
in,
graduation.
if you're in school, you can make it up, but if you're medically excused and you're out of school, you drop the class.
It's into.
Again, I mean, I've seen some, examples in high school, kids, they
But Jay, in order to graduate, you need PE credit. So if you wait until your second semester, of your senior year, and break your leg,
again, it could be fateful, but, we're handcuffing.
Yeah, I just feel like we could live with one, and it's just students who are medically excused, whether or not they're physically in school or out of school. Why can't it be the same thing for local students? Written assignment, independent study of the
perspective, I mean, just the fact that we're saying, oh, we're gonna take them out, re-register them, does that even happen really? You know, probably not. I mean, how many times does somebody get taken out of a class? Like, to me, it just seems an unnecessary handcuff.
Can we check to see what, does having written work for PE high school class, would that qualify for graduation? If somebody got into a car accident or something, or they had a broken leg and they couldn't do PE.
It's a physical
Are you
fitness.
talking about a
It's
waiver?
I mean,
Not so much
if you
a
have a
waiver, but if we're gonna-
504, if you have a special situation, again, that's where a 504 would come into play, from a medical situation. The bottom line is, those are done freshman and sophomore years. In regards with that situation, the wording, if you want to take it all out, you can, but it's in there because if you have to drop a class because of a medical situation, that's why it was worded like that. Okay, it's not great wording. If you want to put it again on the next agenda, I mean, we went through this with the policy committee. We didn't have an issue with it. So you can let the attorney look at it as well.
Through the chair, just a quick question though, why is it for the second part 3 there? Why does it say for high school students only makeup sessions may be offered during school hours, wherever school depending on teacher availability, but they are allowed to do a written assessment? So that to me is just a little bit, can you clarify?
Okay, I would just like to clarify about a teacher and a written assignment with whether they're a PE teacher, an English teacher, whatever, at the discretion of makeup. That's why so much about this written situation, okay? You can write or you can do a physical activity. So I just want to clarify that in regards with the question about this. It's a teacher's discretion.
But my follow-up is saying that for high school students only, again, I'm a high school teacher, so I feel like I gotta
Yes.
jump in there. It says it's only offered during school hours, but if you want to give them.
This is why, they have
So
study
that's what-
halls. They have study halls. The middle school children don't have as many opportunities as a high school student has to make up, and that's why it's theirs.
But again, I don't mean to be, I feel like I have to say it. Why can't they take it home to them if they want to? Why does it have to be only during school? Like, I
Well,
just.
it doesn't, it's
That's what
May.
it says.
It's
It says
May.
during
May.
school. It says for high school students only, makeup sessions may also be offered during school. Right, but why? Why do we have to put May?
Because what if they don't want to do it, and they want to hop into a gym class in their study hall and can do it?
And they've been able to work that flexibility
I
out.
think I just wanted to make the point that physical education is a curriculum.
Yes, it
They have
is.
standards that they have addressed, that they have to
We've
address.
even looked at it at the board level policy.
So I am fine with leaving it to teacher discretion because it may be where they are in a unit. So if they're introducing something that they have to go over rules, that they have to go over something, that may lend itself to a written makeup versus a physical fitness. It's just not, it may depend on where they are in the curriculum and what standards the child missed. And
And I'll send you a copy of the standards, because I had those out as well.
Is right now it's both physical and, before this, physical and written, right?
Yeah.
So now it's changing to 4. And it's not based on their physical
Not just
capability.
physical. You put more
But they would get
flexibility.
the written.
Yes.
They could also get it even if they are capable.
So that's saying in addition to, not just only. This is
Yes.
for high school students only. See, I read it as for high school students only makeup sessions will be available, not May.
It's in addition to.
Yeah.
Where's that, Jay?
That's here.
3.
Oh, I got you. Thank you.
As long as they have every opportunity to make it up.
We have certain rights as teachers. Teachers have certain rights in regards about makeup work and the situation. If something is, we're not being fair and equitable, then that's a different situation. That's where the principal and superintendent steps in, okay? You've got to trust me in the let teachers and people do their jobs, okay? And if it's not, then we'll revisit this.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to accept the revised policy 6163.5 as presented tonight. Oh, accept, what?
Accept and adopt. So
Oh,
we don't
accept
have
and
to-
adopt,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
I already had it.
What?
So, we have a motion to accept and adopt policy, revised policy 61635 by Ed. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jim. All right, any other discussion? All right, in order to do both, we need 2/3, be 6 of us. All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? And motion passes 8-1-0. All right, and item 7B, we have our annual healthy foods certification that we have to.
I think I read this one every
Go
year,
ahead.
so if everybody's okay with that?
Sure.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
The Seymour Public Schools Board of Education will allow the sale to students of food items that do not meet the Connecticut nutrition standards and beverages not listed in section 10-221Q of the Connecticut General Statutes, provided that the following conditions are met. 1, the sale is in connection with an event occurring after the end of the regular school day or on the weekend. 2, the sale is at the location of the event. And 3, the food and beverage items are not sold from a vending machine or school store. An event is an occurrence that involves more than just a regularly scheduled practice, meeting, or extracurricular activity. For example, soccer games, school plays, and interscholastic debates are events, but soccer practices, play rehearsals, and debate team meetings are not. The regular school day is the period from midnight before to 30 minutes after the end of the official school day. Location means where the event is being held and must be the same place as the food and beverage sales.
Second.
All right, motion by Kristen, second by Jim. Any other discussion?
Thank you.
All right, seeing none, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Passes 900. Item H, information. We have the hirings, the transfers, the resignations, and the school.
Statement 1 is only a substitute due to a leave.
All right, any questions there? I don't know what section this is, all right. Section 9, Board of Ed comments and superintendent report, nothing really for me, just glad the budget passed. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll go this way. Ed, anything?
Yeah, I'm glad it passed. I'm disappointed in the number, but I'm glad it's passed.
Say again, Ed?
I'm disappointed in the number of people that voted.
Stefan?
I'm disappointed the budget failed the first time. Thank you.
Jim?
No comment.
Kristen?
Yeah, a couple of things. I'm looking forward to do my best to attend the next charter revision committee meeting, because I think that this budget season brought to light some real, true flaws in the way our charter is currently written. My understanding is that right now, the Charter Commission is still maintaining the annual public meeting, which was devastating to the school district. And when I think about the letter, Penelope, is that right? No? Who wrote- Yes?
Yeah.
When I think about the letter that she wrote, and she talked about how disappointed she was in the town and the vote, there's disappointment in what happened at that annual town meeting for me, that one person or a small contingency of people are able to undo the work that full boards spent 3 months doing and contemplating. And yes, we got cut by a majority of the vote, but I'd rather be cut by 1,200 people at a vote than 200 people
Right.
at an in-person meeting. I was actually impressed with the voter turnout, just because from a historical perspective, it was quite high, although I think it was only about 12% of the public, of the voting, eligible voters. And the last thing I would say is that I'm looking forward to continuing to talk with our superintendent and with the board about what ultimately the the school budget will look like for next year, and I think it's so important that people know. Chris, you made the point clearly, there was no vote taken. So what was talked about at our last meeting last week were superintendent recommendation. We haven't voted yet. Things could change. Enrollment numbers could change. Reimbursement for special education could change. So, you know, I'm looking forward to kind of putting a pin on it, but doing so with some thoughtful discussion with all of you guys here.
Peter?
Nothing for me.
Lori? Jay?
Just looking forward to next month, I think we have to do some work with our calendar because it says here the meeting is Monday, June 2nd, 2025, at Seymour Middle School. And our filed calendar, I believe, says we have a meeting Monday, June 2nd and June 17th, both at 7 p.m. So I'm not sure.
One's the award.
The first one is the awards, and the other is the other meeting.
I understand, but I thought we started the awards earlier, and it's not as a filed. I couldn't remember. Did
We
start
could
it?
change it
Was that
to
7
6
o'clock? I thought
o'clock.
we started at 6.
Yeah, we've had it at 6 and some at 7. We could change the time to 6 or 6:30.
So we would have to just file at town hall.
Yes, yeah.
On the
Yeah,
calendar.
have it
it says 7.
revised, yes. Yeah, good suggestion because it gets so late.
And that'll be here before, it's only a
Yes.
month away. Thanks. And hopefully we could get the budget conversation, maybe at that meeting, if it's a little earlier, than wait till the 17th, or a special
Yes.
call.
It was great to meet with the high school students tonight. I think that's one of my favorite meetings of the year. I'm sorry, traffic made me arrive a little bit late, but reflecting on the budget season this year, it's really an all-year process. So even hearing from our students about things that could improve the high school, conversations that Dr. Compton is always having with leadership and teachers. We begin our budget workshops in January. Again, it's really an opportunity for citizens to have their voice heard about what we need for our schools as we build our budget. Then there's the town meeting. So everybody who came out for the second vote, be aware that this starts in January. We have the town meeting in March, and then it moves to the budget referendum vote. So there are plenty of opportunities for voices to be heard at the Board of Finance level as well. So I would just encourage folks to stay engaged.
All right, and Dr. Compton.
Thank you. I would like to say a very special thank you to the parents, grandparents, school community people who went out and supported our budget. Again, I thank you, I appreciate you, and I love you supporting our school system and listening to us. Thank you for showing that wonderful support. I also want to say that this past Friday, we had the superintendent's luncheon where we recognized an elementary, middle, and high school level students. It's called the SCASA Luncheon. It was held in Waterbury, and it was very successful. It was a win-win. So again, we had students that were recognized for academic achievement, leadership, and community service, and it was a wonderful program. I'd also like to say a special thank you this evening. We had strategic planning of just starting a framework of trying to just get organized as far as goals, and we're going to ask each of you board members which goal areas as we get into the process that you would like to serve on. The last time the strategic planning was done was 2017-18. Kristen Harmley and Chris Champagne were the board members that were represented. Stefan, you were on it as a select person. So we're going to invite, we've sent out a lot of invitations. We're literally looking for May 19th on a Monday. It will be later in the evening, so you'll be able to attend because of work. This session was set up just because there was a lot of things happening. We had to rechange the date because it was the same evening as the referendum and the voting. So I would like to say, basically, we're kind of just looking at, we're just brainstormed with 4 goals. We reflected on the 3 other goals that were part of strategic planning before. Very quickly, safe school climate and culture. The other main goal, of course, is student achievement. Academics has always got to drive the bus. Communication, collaborative partnerships, and community involvement. And the other was learning environments, infrastructure, and physical stability. And that's getting into your capital plan, your infrastructure, and all of that. So we've compared a lot of plans, not only in Connecticut, but throughout. Ultimately, this is your plan. We just did some nice brainstorming, and it was just an effective way with the time frame of how people were able to come out. And we want to recruit parents. Jody would like to recruit you to be on this. But it's got to be at a time with people's working schedules, okay? So I'd also want to allude to the budget. It's been a very difficult process. I don't think I've missed a meeting, whether it's downtown, here, wherever. I was there the night with the vote count. I cried. I came into tears of just thank goodness that it was passed, only 80-some votes. When it comes to looking at all of this, we got to make decisions that do not hurt children in the classrooms and what we can put forth in cutting that makes the most sense. I've been studying diligently, visionary, thinking out of the box. I do have some recommendations. I want you to listen to the superintendent. But I can tell you that I've tried to come up with a way not to cut STEM. I was able to come up with a solution today. I hope it can fly. But when you look at cutting a budget, folks, look how far we've had to come down. We went from 5.9, 5 the status quo to even maintain. You have to make some type of cuts. And you get into personnel, and when you get into personnel, especially in a teaching staff, you're getting to basically $100,000 area, okay? So we'll set this meeting up. We need to look at it. We need to put our heads together and come out with a win-win consensus. So, and what can less hurt kids with what we're dealing with. So I just want to say that. Also, we need to schedule the superintendent's evaluation. It's going to be done in June. It's going to be done on time. So, thank you. I'm worried about the weather tonight. This consistent rain. It's supposed to rain all day, all night, and all day tomorrow. Just really concerned about the weather. So that's it. It's 8:30. So.
Any questions for Dr. Combs?
We must have the weather.
All right. If no questions, anything else? All right, we're at 8:30.